are going to talk about the Somalian invasion of this country. We're going to talk about how Trump's cracking down on it. And we're going to talk about my favorite traitorous wench, Ilhan Omar. Hell yeah. Woman literally said that she's in the United States Congress to represent the interests of Somalia, which I think is a traitorous thing to say. But hey, what do I know? I'm not a constitutional lawyer of any kind. Anyway, we're going to start this off by talking about President Donald John Trump's hottest of takes on Somalians being complete and total garbage. Let's see what the President of the United States has to say about this, huh? This is Fox 9 Minneapolis, yada, yada, yada. Fox in Minnesota, right? Minneapolis is where most of these Somalians have been placed after being let into the country. So it's super Somalian. It's where Ilhan Omar's from, etc., right? Anyway, this is their YouTube channel. This is their original video. We're going to see what they said about Trump calling Somalians the worst country in the world. And says Representative Omar does nothing but complain. Listen, full disclosure, I heard the take already. I know what he says. He doesn't say all she does is complain. Listen, I fully agree. All right, wait, getting off track. We're going to see what he says about this. Let's find out.
I think open borders are great, where prisons are emptied into our country, right? Where we have people from all over the world being dumped into our country, the people that aren't wanted in their countries, by the way.
Right now, he's talking about for the last 50 years or so, most countries that just didn't want people in their country were shipped them off to the United States because we were just accepting everybody, right?
I think that's a great, like Somalia. Welcome. Do we have any individuals from Somalia in the group? Please raise your hand. That's for Minnesota, That's called the Great Big Minnesota Scam with one of the dumbest governors ever in history.
Tim Tampon Waltz, right? That guy. Definitely one of the dumbest governors. He was the guy that was placed with Kamala Harris on the last presidential campaign for the Democratic Party because they ousted Joe Biden probably because of his performance on the debate stage against Trump. And then they installed Kamala Harris through not a democratic process at all. But what do I fucking know? They installed her, and then they needed to give her somebody that would help win her voters, and for whatever reason, they chose Tim Walz over somebody like Governor Josh Shapiro. I think it's because Tim Walz was the only one that was stupid enough to actually get on the ticket with her, but, whatever. Anyway, Tim Walz is the governor of Minnesota, so that's who he's talking about, right?
I love this Ilhan Omar, whatever the hell her name is, with the little shing.
I call her a traitorous wench. Some people call her Ilhan Omar. I don't know.
The little turban.
I think Ilhan's a stupid name. And Omar is the name of a guy, I think.
I love her. She comes in, does nothing but bitch. She's always...
See? This is what... I told you. I heard it already. But I love hearing it again. Let's just listen again. Listen one more time.
Nothing but bitch.
She does nothing but bitch. Oh my God. She was brought into this country. She immigrated over here because she came from Mogadishu, Somalia, apparently. She comes over here, and then all she does is bitch and bitch and bitch about all the rights that she was given when she came over here. And then she married her brother to get him a fucking green card so he could immigrate over here, which is total fraud, by the way. And she was only ever elected to Congress because Obama decided to drop, 80,000 Somalians on Minneapolis, and now that entire fucking city, that entire district essentially, is Somalian run. So because she's from Somalia and spouts all the bullshit about how she can protect Somalian interests from within the U.S. system, even though that's definitely traitorous and treasonous to the Constitution. The only reason she's in fucking Congress is because of this Somalian community in Minneapolis, and she's just as stupid as all of them.
Always complain. She comes from a country where, it's considered about the worst country in the world, right? They have no...
Dog, it's barely even a country, right? I don't think they have a fucking military. I don't know if they even have a government necessarily, because they don't do anything. They have nothing. My God.
Military, they have no nothing. They have no parliament.
All right, listen. All right. Oftentimes, when people are saying the truth, two people will say the same thing, okay? I did not pre-watch this, but listen. look, Somalia sucks, guy. Come on.
They don't know what the
What value are they adding to American society? You name me one fucking thing.
hell the word parliament means. They have nothing. They have no police. They police themselves. They kill each other all the time. I love it. She comes to our country, and she's always complaining about the Constitution allows me to do this.
Yeah, these are fucking rights that we gave you when you got here. What the hell are we talking about? Why are you fighting so hard to tear it down? Stupid.
We ought to get her the hell out. She married her brother.
Goddamn right she did. Hell yeah. Woo! Yeah, oh, god damn it. Big D Donald Trump. Oh god.
In order to get in, right? She married her brother.
I don't know if she married her brother so she could immigrate over here. As I understand it, she married her brother so he could. And then as soon as he got over here, she got him like into school at like the University of Minneapolis or something like that. But as far as I know, she married him so he could immigrate here, not so that she could. So I think he might be a little wrong about that. Or I am. I don't fucking know. I'm not the president.
Can you imagine if Donald Trump married his sister? Beautiful. She's a beautiful person. If I married my sister to get my citizenship, do you think I'd last for about 2 hours, or would it be something less than that?
Dude, Trump, if you have done anything wrong in your life, you're either very good at hiding it or you've done nothing. Because if you had done anything wrong at all, the Democrats would have fucking hanged you. They made up laws so that they could try and throw you in jail for 700 years, my guy. All right? Come on.
She married her brother to get in. Therefore, she's here illegally.
I think it's a breach of her, her oath when she became it. But because again, I'm pretty sure that she married him so he could immigrate, not so she could. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Oh well, I guess on the marriage certificate it was her name that's crossed out for whatever reason. So maybe it was like she married him to come over here and then she got into fuck. Maybe I understand it wrong. I don't know. But I've seen the marriage certificate and everyone claims that they're brother and sister. But I know that Somalia, I don't think, keeps records of whether or not they were brother and sister. Or if they did, they've definitely destroyed it by now. Because they don't really want to lose their one lifeline into American politics. They get an awful lot of money from the American taxpayer, right? So, anyway, yes, that's him dogging on fucking Ilhan Omar. Oh, this is great. Remember what I said about the average IQ of Somalians being relatively low? Well, full disclosure, the average IQ of the American citizen is also relatively low compared to, well, what I would consider to be normal. But, whatever. So, this here is an average IQ by country in 2025, right? Right here in China, it says the average IQ is 107, which, okay, maybe, yeah. I don't know. I have no idea how they're getting this information. This is just kind of worldpopulationreview.com. Country rankings, average IQ by country, right? So this is a map that shows it. In Canada, it's 102. In the U.S., it's 99.7. Honestly, I think that's mostly offset by the shithole country people that we brought in. But, what do I know? Last time I took an IQ test, my IQ was like 137, I think is what it was. So I think genius level's like 160 or something like that, or at least it was on the test that I took. So I'm not a genius by any means, but like above average, IQ. And I think that there are many people just like that in the United States. But the problem is the number keeps getting dropped because we're importing people from Somalia, which is it's over here somewhere. Anyway, I'll find it. Okay, here we go. Somalia. Alright, Somalia. Average IQ of Somalia is 67.6. Okay, so we import a bunch of people that have an IQ of about 68, roughly. into the United States, where many people have a higher than average IQ, then it will definitely drop it down to 99.7. Yeah, that's fair. We are actively fucking with our own test scores by importing retards. Also, Hong Kong and China, I agree, are totally separate places. And it does not belong to China, because China shouldn't be allowed to own anything. But the fact that they all have 107 is kind of suspicious. This is Taiwan. Really? South Korea, 106. Oh my god. Anyway, that's because these people aren't importing hundreds of millions of fucking people. These people aren't importing people from retard shithole countries. But yeah, the average IQ of Somalia is about 67 point... Let me look at it one more time right here. Average IQ of Somalia is 67.7, according to WorldPopulationReview.com, which did an average IQ by country in 2025. Okay, so right fucking now, their average IQ is 67. And we are letting them come to our country in droves and expecting them to be able to provide something of value to their community. They can't provide anything of value. Here's a little known secret. Whenever you go to the U.S. Armed Services office and you want to sign up for the military, they will not accept you if you have an IQ that is like 80 or less, I think is what it is. Because they've decided that you aren't even good enough to be a meat shield. Like, are you fucking kidding me right now? And we're letting these people just do whatever the hell they want to. Why? Why are we letting them do that? This is from CNN right here. After years of Trump's attacks on Somalis in Minnesota, ISIS zeroes in on the Twin Cities. Here's what's fueling the operation. Okay, so this is CNN. They're going to post it in an incredibly bad light because they don't really have another option. They have to, because they have to be the counter to Fox telling the truth all the time, right? So anyway, okay. When President Donald Trump was asked about how Afghans legally in the United States might feel about his decision to pause issuing visas for them after the suspected shooter in the National Guard's members was identified to be an Afghan national. I don't know why we're calling him a suspected shooter. We know for a fact that he fucking did it. People saw that shit happen. And he's a terrorist bastard, and he deserves the death penalty. Now, listen, that is legally within our rights to do. I am not calling for anything that is that is not within legal bounds of the United States of America. I am, however, saying if you're a terrorist, you don't deserve to be here, and one way or the other, you will be leaving the United States. Anyway, they can't be happy because they're taking place between that, and if you look at Somalia, they're taking over Minnesota, Trump said in remarks to reporters following his call to service members on Thanksgiving Day. Yeah, okay. So people taken from Somalia are being placed in Minnesota, which is causing the Minnesota test scores to drop, which is causing a lot of American welfare systems to basically implode because, well, these people aren't contributing, but they are taking, which is a problem. Anyway, moments later, he clarified the alleged shooter had nothing to do with Somalia, but the president has nonetheless continued pushing hostile rhetoric toward the Somalian population in Minneapolis in the days since. Yes, but he's doing that not because of the shooting. The shooting was an Afghan national terrorist fuck. He's doing the Somalian thing because somebody has to point out how stupid these people are and how much of a shithole they are making our country. They are coming from a shithole country, and we are allowing them to turn the place they come to into another shithole, which is a problem that we have in the United States. It was fine being a melting pot, but they actually have to meld together. At this point, it's oil and fucking water, all right? They're trying to take over the pot. They're trying to push the water out, which is a problem. Over the past few months, the Trump administration has continued its sweeping deportation push of immigrants, with the surge of federal agents flooding the streets of blue cities such as Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., Chicago, Charlotte, and New Orleans. Yeah, because all of these are really dangerous places that house a lot of illegals. If you notice, places like Chicago and Los Angeles were sanctuary cities where if you were an illegal alien, you could show up and not fear retaliation from the federal government, which is also a treasonous act, but again, I'm not a lawyer, what do I know, right? Where the Department of Homeland Security confirmed a new operation Thursday morning after weeks of anticipation that the Crescent City would be the next target. Again, if there's a lot of illegal aliens there, it's going to become a target of the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. Why? Because they care about actually enforcing our immigration laws. If you are not a citizen here, you do not get to be here. If you do not have a work visa, you do not get to be here. If you do not have some sort of authorization of some kind to be here, you do not get to be here. I fully agree with the Remain in Mexico policy, where if you're claiming asylum, great, we will adjudicate your asylum case. You're not going to wait within the United States for that to be adjudicated. Once it is, and we agree that, hey, you know what? This is an actual claim for asylum. If that happens, fine. But you're not going to wait here for that to happen. Period. But a new Immigration and Customs Enforcement operation, a federal official told CNN on Thursday, will specifically target undocumented Somali immigrants. Will specifically target illegal Somali immigrants. Can we just get rid of the undocumented bullshit, okay? No, it's not an undocumented immigrant. It's somebody that has immigrated here that did not go through the legal pathways and did not come in through the front door. Okay? This is somebody that broke out a window in the back and jumped in. They don't get to be here. My fucking God. The community, one of the largest in the U.S., okay, cool. Then if it's one of the largest, let's go ahead and target that and start getting rid of the people. Cut the heads off the snake, if you will. You know what I mean? Listen, if I'm trying to get rid of illegal aliens, I'm going to go where they are most populated so I can get rid of as many as possible from there. It's much easier to do that than it is to find the one that's hanging out in fucking Oklahoma, right? The community, one of the largest in the U.S., is one of the few the president has focused on directly for years. Again, these people are dangerous. These people kill each other, okay? When they have political disputes over there, they literally start shooting each other. They don't talk it out like civilized people. Trump singles out Somalians after National Guard shooting and funding scandal. Ooh, yeah. Listen, I don't think the National Guard shooting had anything to do with Somalians, but I do know that there is a funding scandal going on, and we will discuss that later. I have a couple of other things I'm going to discuss on that. I have some tabs pulled up and such. In recent attacks against the Somalian community, the president and his allies have frequently cited that a $300 million fraud scandal that centered on Feeding Our Future, a non-profit organization, and a COVID-19 program meant to provide free meals to needy kids. Oh no! The vast majority of roughly 70 people charged in the cases were members of the state's Somalian community. What? Roughly 70 people? Oh my gosh. Jesus fucking Christ. Against a $300 million fraudulent charity type program. Jesus. Listen, there's a lot of fraudulent charities. Like the whole Clinton Foundation was totally fraudulent, right? I really, like, at this point, there's so many fraudulent charities that whenever I go, if I go into like a restaurant of some kind, if I'm going into like a Lowe's, if I'm checking out at a McDonald's or something, whenever I'm paying for shit, if they're like, hey, would you like to round up for X charity? I just assume that X, if I don't know directly that is like an actual legit charity, I'm just going to assume that it's a bullshit money laundering scheme for the company. I don't care. There's so many fraudulent ones at this point. It's just crazy. Prosecutors allege defendants set up a network of shell companies connected to Feeding Our Future, which is the organization, to exploit the federal child nutrition program, claiming to be feeding thousands of children per day, but instead using the money to purchase luxury vehicles and real estate. Look, buying the car is a waste of money. Purchasing real estate is actually putting it into something that matters. But if they set it up through a series of shell companies, which is the common thing to do, especially for people that are doing it on a high level like that, many members of Congress probably do the same thing. I know Joe Biden did. 37 defendants have pleaded guilty, according to the AP. 5 were convicted in a group of defendants who were tried last year, and the AP reported. Trump referenced the scandal a week before Thanksgiving, calling Minnesota a, quote, hub of fraudulent money laundering activity, unquote. And it seems to me that that's exactly what it was, right? Or at least within the Somali community in Minneapolis. And he announced plans to terminate temporary protected status for Somalian residents in the state. I am fully aware of that, and I am fully supportive of that. Somalian gangs are terrorizing the people of the great state. I can't do a Trump impression. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. And billions of dollars are missing. Send them back to where they came from, Trump said on Truth Social. I do also think that we should send them back where they came from. Listen, if you want to make a country a shithole country, great. Do it over there. At this point, you've been in America long enough to know how things are supposed to work. Let's see if you actually care. Go do it over there. Go do it in the country you claim to love so much. Go do it to the culture you claim to love so much. Then, on the day of the National Guard shooting, Trump vowed to escalate his anti-immigration agenda. Yeah, well, you know what? If it's people that are here illegally shooting members of our National Guard, yeah, I think that we should also get rid of people that are here illegally. What are we doing? Trump vowed to escalate his anti-immigration agenda after the suspect was identified as an Afghan national, and he claimed the incident, quote, underscores the single greatest national security threat facing our nation. Yes, it is. Importing a bunch of people that hate this fucking country with virtually no vetting process whatsoever. You know, they let people come in here that were known terrorists. You fucking know that? Like, look, all of these names are the same. They're all, right? They're all crazy. Like, a lot of these Somalian names are just little clicking sounds. So I can't really pronounce it, so I'm not going to try. But there have been many people that were let in under administration after administration that were known terrorists because they were applying for asylum, and we let them stay here. And you know what they did? They caused a lot of fucking violent crime. And at this point, they're just raping and killing people because they know that nobody's going to stop them, which is fucking crazy. Yeah, we should get rid of these people. Lashing out at Somali immigrants in Minnesota, Trump claimed we were, quote, ripping off our country and ripping apart that great state, that once great state. Yes, he is. That is exactly what they are doing, because when you are leeching off of a welfare system that you are not also contributing to, you are, in fact, ripping off that country. And also, if you are turning the state that used to be awesome into a complete shithole with bunch of crime everywhere, human feces on the street, camp tents, drugs, all kinds of crap. Yeah, no, turning a place into a shithole means you kind of are, ripping apart a once great state. He describes Somalia as a country that has, quote, no laws, no water, no military, no nothing. They don't. Listen, they don't. They don't. They get most of their money from the American taxpayer and from other taxpayers like Iran and fucking, like, yeah, anyway. Days later, Trump ended his cabinet meeting on Tuesday by asserting he does not want Somalian immigrants in the United States. He referred to the community and U.S. Democratic Representative Ilhan Omar, a Somali immigrant who represents Minnesota, specifically Minneapolis, as garbage. Yes, she is garbage. She is total garbage. And you know what? So is the country she claims to love so much but refuses to go back to. So is the country she claims to represent from within the U.S. system. She said that, not me. Go back to where they came from, says Trump. I agree. I think she should. I think Ilhan Omar should go to jail before she goes back to where she came from. But I also think that they should all go back to where they fucking came from. Trump has rallied against Somalians for years. Yeah, he fucking has. Trump has zeroed in on Minnesota's Somali population because, listen, whenever you turn a place into a shithole, Trump's going to call it out. That's just kind of how it worked. He was on top of this Antifa shit for a long time, too. Listen, so was everybody else, but still. But Trump has zeroed in on Minnesota's Somali population and rallied against Omar. He became the first, who became the first Somali American elected to Congress in 2018. And since then, she's done nothing but bitch, according to President Trump. Somalia was also on the travel ban list during Trump's first presidential term. Yeah, because why the fuck would anybody want to go there? The Somalia is one of those places where, like, you go to on a cruise, but you don't want to leave the resort area because that's the only safe place, right? And it's a lot of places in Mexico are this fucking way too, right? Jamaica, etc. If you leave the resort area, you might die, just because it's so dangerous. But within the resort area, it's protected by the U.S. military, so like, yeah, put it on the travel ban list. Fuck yeah. Several Muslim majority nations, including Somalia, listen, I mean, if the shoe fits, right, were identified as countries of concern and subject to travel restrictions. Well, listen, as far as I am aware, my general knowledge of it is that Muslim majority countries are incredibly dangerous. And radical Islamist fucks are responsible for the majority of terrorist attacks in the world. And also, if you don't agree with that religion, they are literally called by Muhammad to kill you. So, you know, I don't want to go there either. When Trump took office, his restrictions turned into a travel ban, baby. Nobody's going there. They're not coming here. We're fucking done importing people from shithole countries that turn our country into a shithole country because they don't even know how to, they have no idea how to assimilate in any capacity, and they don't understand that their culture is the reason their country is a shithole country. They don't understand that some countries are better than others. And it just happens that the United States is the best one in the world. That's why they all want to come here. Fuck. At a rally in Minneapolis in 2019, Trump challenged the case for allowing Somali refugees to settle in the North Star state as he touted his travel ban. For many years, leaders in Washington brought large numbers of refugees to our state from Somalia without considering the impact on schools and communities and the taxpayers, he said. He went on to attack Omar, as I do too, because she deserves it, who represents the district where the rallies took place, as a disgrace. She is. She's totally a disgrace. Minnesota is home to over 79,000 Somalis, roughly 80% of whom reside in the Twin Cities. Like I said, Minneapolis is the problem. It's not all of Minnesota. Citizens of Somalia were first granted temporary protective status in 1991 when the country was plunged into chaos after dictator Mohammed Saeed Barre was overthrown. In 2013, the U.S. officially recognized the Somalia government in Mogadishu for the first time in 2 decades. Yes, but that was mostly an Obama thing, and also I don't think we should have recognized them because they're basically just a ragtag group of farmers that sit in a circle around a fucking hay bale and talk about politics and how much more money they can take from the stupid American taxpayer because their elected officials are robbing them blind. Somalia has maintained temporary protected status due to insecurity and ongoing armed conflict that represent serious threats and the safety concerns. Yes, because they can't stop killing each other. Why do we want them to live here? Omar condemned Trump's announcement in the news conference last week and spoke about the impact on her community. Many of these people we are talking about have built lives, she said. They own homes. They look, if they're not a citizen here, they better not fucking own a home. That no bank had better do that. And the ones that do own homes that are citizens have nothing to worry about because they're legal here. We're talking about the ones that aren't legal here. It just happens that the majority of your the majority of your constituents are illegals. So you're worried about if they get deported, you won't be reelected. And I'm fine with that. And so is Minnesota. Leave, you traitorous wench. They own homes. They own businesses. They're a vibrant part of the community. And we want to make sure that their new home stays their forever home. We want to make sure that they can't be taken away from here. That's why we were a sanctuary city. The problem is that's illegal to do. Supremacy clause, baby. Anyway, Somalia is one of the 19 countries included in Trump's sweeping travel ban implemented this summer, which imposes full and partial restrictions. Many of the countries on the list are either failed states or under repressive rule. Yeah, you know what? It makes sense. If we're going to ban people from going to places, let's ban them from going to the dangerous, oppressive places where they might die. Yeah, it seems reasonable to me. In the wake of the National Guard shooting, Trump said the U.S. will re-examine all green cards issued to people from these 19 countries of concern. I agree. If there was virtually no vetting process, let's go ahead and get these guys put through a vetting process, right? And if some of them are found to be known terrorists, then yeah, we'll take away their green cards and send them the fuck home. Plans for operation targeting Somalis remain vague. Yeah, well, they're not going to talk about the plans really all that much. Okay, yeah, so that's that's CNN's take on Trump hating Somalians. Follow me here on Kick. Go to x.com/Sestel or real_Sestel to follow me there as well. I make based opinions. If you like that, you can follow me over on YouTube at youtube.com/Sestel_G2D. If you don't like YouTube anymore, you can go over to Rumble and follow me there if you'd like. I'm everywhere the videos are made. Yeah, I'll see you guys next week. Again, I will be probably on my regular schedule again next week. So anyway, see you guys later. Bye.